Welcome to VMblog's coverage of KubeCon CloudNativeCon 2023, taking place in Chicago. Today, I have the pleasure of having Saad Malik, who is the CTO and co-founder of Spectro Cloud. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
I know we spoke with you last year before KubeCon, but for people that are not familiar with your company, could you give us kind of a quick overview?
Sure, happy to. So Spectro Cloud is a VC-backed startup founded in 2019, focusing on making Kubernetes accessible to all enterprises. As you know, Brian, Kubernetes is a very complex platform with many different moving parts. So what we do is provide that easy button for organizations to run Kubernetes at scale. We have a product called Spectro Cloud Palette, which takes a unique approach to managing the full stack Kubernetes. And essentially what we do is break Kubernetes into different parts, everything from the operating system to the Kubernetes distribution, and any integrations, we model this into a blueprint we call the cluster profile. And then with this blueprint, users can very quickly deploy a full stack Kubernetes cluster in any environment, whether it be a public cloud, private clouds, data centers, bare metal, or edge. And then of course, consistently manage them at scale, all from a single pane of glass.
And for the attendees of the show, if you could, maybe just describe how your company fits within the ecosystem that's going to be discussed at KubeCon, CloudNativeCon.
Sure, absolutely. So the cloud native ecosystem is massive and growing every day. Just looking at the CNCF landscape, it hosts over 2,000 different integrations and members, everything from core layers like the operating system to storage and networking to add-on integrations like logging, monitoring, security, ingress, and so many more. Because in Palette we do full stack management, we help users to model these ecosystem integrations into their cluster profiles and then deploy them into one or more clusters. And from there, provide the day two lifecycle management from updating and patching these integrations. And even though we are an enterprise Kubernetes management platform, what's unique about our platform is we don't just manage the Kubernetes layer, but we manage the whole stack.
Now, you talked about you manage the whole stack. What specific problems do you solve for people that are interested in Kubernetes and stuff? And also, what are the technology offerings that you guys make, and what makes it unique?
Yeah, great question. So our management platform is called Spectro Cloud Palette. It is primarily provided as a SaaS offering, but we do offer dedicated installs and also self-hosted install options. Now, we do have a few different editions catering to different use cases. The first use case for Kubernetes as a service, we provide what's called Palette Enterprise, and it caters to more IT operation teams, whether it's DevOps, platform engineering, SREs, the people who are really in charge of Kubernetes environments and feeling the pain of managing multiple clusters. These teams are facing constant barrage of requirements, ranging from adding more integrations to performing backups of their workloads, RBAC and access control, patching, upgrades, etc. You name it. This is where really Spectro Cloud Palette Enterprise really shines, because it helps automate many of these capabilities and essentially provides them as a service. So no manual work or complicated scripting is needed. Now, there are many conventional management tools that help with Kubernetes lifecycle management, but they don't cover the full stack of integrations and capabilities I just mentioned. Also, many of them are highly opinionated regarding the distributions and integrations which can be supported. So the key differentiator for Palette Enterprise is the ability for our platform to also manage at scale tens of thousands of clusters, because all of the policies and configurations are pushed down into the clusters, allowing them to also self-manage even in low intermittent environment and connectivity. The other addition we have is called Palette Edge. It extends our Palette core capabilities and allows organizations to manage Edge Kubernetes clusters at scale. As you know, Edge comes with its own set of requirements, from no or limited IT personnel on site to limited or intermittent connectivity, and still needing to support many different integrations, whether it's different hardware types like ARM or x86 or other accelerated devices. Pallet Edge provides a software-only solution that helps organizations to easily manage tens of thousands of edge clusters with ease. And we can manage everything from the operating system to the Kubernetes and all the layers on top of it.
Now, did you also have a government compliant edition? Is that right?
Yep, absolutely. So the last one we just recently announced is our Pallet Vertex offering. It is a FIPS compliant edition. It enables all government and private sector organizations that really value strong data protection to securely manage Kubernetes clusters at scale. Cryptography is handled with only approved FIPS 140-2 modules, and it's covered in the entire solution, from the management plane to the actual workloads of Kubernetes clusters. In addition, Vertex also supports environments and technology platforms essential for running government workloads, such as Kubernetes clusters in the Amazon GovCloud or Azure Government Cloud. There are also more options to deploy FIPS-enabled operating systems like Red Hat Enterprise Linux and Ubuntu Pro. And finally, as part of Spectro Cloud's commitment to serving government organization, work is already underway to certify Pallet Vertex as the first FedRAMP moderate SaaS management platform.
Now, a lot of vendors who are at KubeCon are using that platform to showcase, new things that they've recently launched. Is your company making any new announcements, or are there any recent announcements that you've made that you're going to be spotlighting and highlighting at the trade show at your booth?
Yeah, absolutely. We've launched a number of different products very recently this year. Earlier in the summer, we launched something called Virtual Machine Orchestrator that enables VM workloads to be scheduled on the same cluster as containerized workloads. Around the same time, we launched Pallet Vertex, our government edition, which obviously provides FIPS-compliant capabilities for government and sensitive workloads. More recently, we also launched our Edge AI capability, which extends our Edge Kubernetes management features to providing control over both AI models and engines like Kubeflow. And the other key capability we recently launched is our two-node Edge HA solution. This brings Kubernetes high availability with just 2 nodes, and it's an absolute game changer for retailers, manufacturers, and others that need to deploy at the edge but are sensitive to hardware costs and space. What we're announcing at KubeCon isn't necessarily a feature, but it's a piece of research. It's called the State of Production Kubernetes 2023, and it's our 3rd annual report covering the trends and challenges in the Kubernetes market, and we're really excited to share our findings with the community.
Well, talking about trends, one of the things that everybody gets excited about at KubeCon is to kind of hear the big picture and the futures of what's coming next in the industry. What are some of the themes and trends that Spectro Cloud is interested in moving into 2024?
So definitely a few areas that we're very interested in. We're continuing to see a big uptick in edge computing projects. Industries from retail, healthcare, manufacturing, and others are exploring how to leverage computing at the edge. And it's just amazing to see how Kubernetes and related technologies can be the enabler for workloads to run closer to where the user is and where the customers are. This is undoubtedly unlocking many new business opportunities, and of course, something true and dear to our heart. The other very interesting area is around developer tooling. Kubernetes is the critical business infrastructure, but what runs on top of it are the applications. As we all know, Kubernetes and the ecosystem of integrations provide a lot of value, but they come with a very steep learning curve for developers. Learning CI/CD pipelines to Docker files and services and storage, it's just too much for developers who just want to focus on writing their core business logic. We're looking for the next gen of platforms and technologies that will help accelerate developers to work within this ecosystem. And surrounding all of these themes will, of course, be AI and generative AI. How can AI help organizations and teams to be more efficient, secure, and ultimately deliver results faster?
So that was great information, as always, that you've provided. We really appreciate that. I'm a visual guy, Is there any way you can give us a quick demo of the product, just something that the folks watching this video at home can see for themselves?
Absolutely, David. So I'll be demoing our Palette Enterprise. It's our Kubernetes management platform that helps organizations to deploy and manage Kubernetes clusters at scale. So once you log into Palette, we provide, sorry, one more time. Palette is provided as 3 different deployment models. We offer it as a multi-tenant SaaS offering where our customers are leveraging the platform we provide. We also do offer it as a dedicated SaaS specific to customers, or if you want your own private version, you can also install it in your own VPCs or data centers. When you log into Palette, you get logged into a project. Projects is how we provide isolation for different sets of users and the Kubernetes clusters and other settings. At a glance, the project admin gets full visibility in terms of where all the different clusters and application workloads are running, even getting breakdown of the cost across different clouds, and even resource consumption for both CPU and memory. Now, the heart of Spectro Cloud is this concept called a cluster profile. Think of it as a blueprint or template that describes the entire infrastructure, everything from your operating system to your Kubernetes, your networking storage, what we call the core layers. Everything that sits on top of it, like your monitoring, your ingress, your load balancers, are what we call add-on layers. We provide 50 plus different integrations out of the box that are pre-validated and pre-tested across every version of Kubernetes that we support. Very easy to say, I want to add a new version of an integration like this Prometheus Grafana, and you'll notice that we even provide validation and error handling directly in this UI, again, to help users not make mistakes as they're provisioning the clusters. The whole idea of using these cluster profiles, it becomes that blueprint that is used not only to provision new clusters, but also maintain your dozens or hundreds of clusters consistently. From here, if I jump into the clusters view, you'll notice that this environment, I have clusters running on Canonical NAS, on VMware, Azure, Google. We support all the major public cloud providers and all the data center environments as well. Now, I can very quickly add a new cluster by clicking on the Add New Cluster button, select Deploy New Cluster, all the various environments that we support out of the box, from public clouds, data center, and edge. For this demo, we can pick something like Amazon. I can type in demo Amazon 1, cloud account, I'll pick the one I have added. From here, I'll pick either provision clusters at the IaaS layer or provision at EKS. So I'll pick EKS cluster, I can pick the cluster profile, select next. If there are any additional profiles that I want to attach, maybe add my Nginx ingress or Vault, I can very quickly do that. From here, I will specify placement properties specific to an Amazon cluster. Dynamically provision things like VPCs or subnets, or statically provision them if I need to do it manually. For now, I'll pick dynamic provisioning. I'll pick my region to be US West 2, my key peer, select next. When it comes to pool configuration, I'll specify I want 3 worker nodes and maybe under the T3 extra large. One thing to also notice is that we do synchronize the cost for instances on a daily basis. And as I modify the number of worker nodes, you'll notice that we also change the estimated cost of running this workload and the clusters. More than provisioning, we support things like OS patching, scanning, backups, RBAC. I'll get into a little bit later on that. I'll click on validate and then click on finish configuration. And that was as simple as that to provision an end-to-end full stack Kubernetes cluster. This will take about 15 minutes to provision. Let me jump into an existing cluster. Like for example, if I jump into this MAS cluster here, you'll notice that this cluster has been running for a couple days. You can see the health and metrics, both from a CPU perspective and memory perspective. There are a couple additional capabilities for lifecycle management. Very easy to upgrade Kubernetes to OS lifecycle management, but we also do provide capabilities like built-in scans. We have scans that deal with security, scans that help with penetration scans, and also even SBOM scanning to look at what are the workloads that are running in the cluster. At a very quick glance, you can either run an ad hoc scan report or schedule them to be done on a weekly basis. And this SBOM one is quite interesting because it goes into your cluster and looks at every single piece of workload that is running, and is also able to show what are its dependencies and if there are any reported vulnerabilities. The last thing I'll show is that for bare metal clusters, whether they're edge clusters or they're running our mass integration, we support something called a virtual machines. Virtual machines tab allows you to manage the lifecycle of all of your VMs in the same cluster that you're used to managing your container applications. So here in this cluster, I have 4 VMs that are running. I can very quickly launch a new VM, select from a very simple self-service catalog which operating system to deploy. And I'll select Ubuntu 1.2.3, specify CPU's memory, and I'll select next. If I need to make any advanced customizations, I can make it. And then I can click on deploy. And then within, I would say, about 30 seconds or so, we will have a brand new VM that started in this cluster. We support all the advanced day 2 capabilities, from doing operations like adding additional disks to doing things like network attachment management. All the common functionalities that vSphere provides, we also support in our platform. The most interesting capability is also vMotion capabilities, where we can live migrate a VM from one of the hosts to another one. So in this case, I have a VM that is currently running a game on a bare metal node 30. And in about a minute or so, without any loss to the game's CPU or memory, the VM would have migrated to a completely new bare metal host. These are just some of the key capabilities we provide in Pallet. Obviously, David and Brian, we didn't go into detail about Pallet dev engines or automation or many of the other things we did, but a small preview of what we do here.
Well, wow, that was a great demo. Not only great information, but a really, really good demo. And like you said, you've only kind of touched on the surface. So definitely invite everybody who's going to KubeCon to go by the Spectro Cloud booth and check it out for themselves. But before we let you go, where's a good place to send folks who aren't going to be at KubeCon, who still want to come learn more about the company, the technology, the things that you talked about today?
Yep, thank you. So the best place to learn more about Spectro Cloud and its product palette would be on our marketing website. That would be spectrocloud.com. That's SPECTRO cloud, all one word, .com.
Great. Well, we look forward to seeing you at the KubeCon event, and we wish you a great and successful show.
Likewise. Thank you so much.
All right.